let us continue with the topic. We have discussed about COP21, which is also known as Paris Agreement, in the previous video, and now let us discuss about Durban Summit, which is also known as COP17, and this was held in 2011 in Durban, South Africa. Now, the initiatives that were charted out in this Durban Summit, the first very important one is Kyoto Protocol Commitment Period, right? The initiatives, the measures that were taken under Kyoto Protocol, right? And also the reduction levels that you have pledged to take in Kyoto Protocol. Then it was charted out as commitment period, in how many years this can be done. Now this is done in Durban Summit. Now Kyoto Protocol, right, commitment period as CP, right? And the next one is Green Climate Fund. Green Climate Fund, right? Very important one. Now, all the initiatives are very important in Durban Summit. Now the next very important one is reduction of emissions from deforestation and degradation, RED and RED plus. Now see, this is very important. I will write on the full form also. Reduction of emissions from deforestation and degradation, which is nothing but called as RED, REDD. And the other initiative, the extension of this initiative is REDD plus. Now we will discuss about this in detail, right? Now the next one is carbon capture and storage mechanism. Carbon capture and storage mechanism, right? Now this is the next initiative taken, right? The next one is agreement for climate change plan beyond 2020, right? Agreement for climate change plan, I'll write it as CC plan, beyond 2020. Now this is one more initiative taken in Durban Summit. The next one is technology mechanism. What are the technologies that you have to consider in order to conserve the biodiversity, right? Now let us discuss the first initiative, Kyoto Protocol Commitment Period. Kyoto Protocol Commitment Period. Now under this, the measures and concrete policy was laid down to make successful implementation of the second commitment period of Kyoto Protocol. And you know that the second commitment period is between 2012 to 2020. In order to successfully implement the Kyoto Protocol measures, a policy was drafted. Now this is the first one, right? And see here, for the first time, developing and developed countries both were brought under universal legal agreement to cut down greenhouse gas emissions. Now see here, till now in Paris Agreement and also in Kyoto Protocol, we have given the norms and also the standards for developed countries separately and developing countries separately. Now both developed and developed and developing both were kept under same umbrella and were given with the same measures of greenhouse gas emissions restrictions. Right? Now, the next one is Green Climate Fund. Next initiative what we will discuss is Green Climate Fund. Now, what is this Green Climate Fund? Under this mechanism, developed countries was supposed to contribute 100 billion US dollars on yearly basis to strengthen measures to cut down the emissions. Now, under this mechanism, developed countries right have to contribute 100 billion US dollars 100 billion US dollars for the measures taken for to cut down the emissions. Now, Green Climate Fund limit will remain 100 billion dollars up to 2020, and beyond 2020 it will be increased. Right now, this is up to 2020. Right. The next initiative what we will look upon is technology mechanism. Right. Technology mechanism. I'm writing only short forms. Okay. Now, what is this technology mechanism? Now, see here, through this technology mechanism, developed countries are supposed to invest green technology in developing countries, and in that process, greenhouse emissions can be cut down. Right? Now, see here, tech mechanism means developed countries. Now, see here, I will write developed countries as DC and developing countries as DIC. So, in order to have smooth flow of the video, right? Now, see here, developed countries has to invest on green technology, means usage of solar energy, biofuels, right? Biomass power plants. I think everybody knows about it. Invest green technology in developing countries. Now, this is nothing but your technology mechanism. Now, the next one, reduction of emissions from deforestation and degradation, RED. Let us see about what is this initiative, RED, RE dot D dot D. Right. Now, see here, all the members in the Durban summit agreed to consider the RED market based mechanism and private funding as options to finance the program on reducing the emissions from deforestation and forest degradation. Right. Now, see here, this is nothing but your RED. All the parties that participate in Durban summit agreed, apart from market based mechanism. Already we have seen this market based mechanism as joint implementation programs, common clean development mechanism. These are market driven programs, carbon trading, carbon credits. These are market based mechanisms. Right. Now, apart from this market based mechanisms, this Durban summit also approves private funding, in order to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions, or otherwise greenhouse gas emissions through from deforestation, due to deforestation, and also due to forest degradation. Now, this is the mechanism under RED, forest degradation. Got the point? Yes. Done. Now, the next one is Agreement for Climate Change Plan Beyond 2020, CCBC. beyond climate change beyond 2020. Now what is this plan? That under this provision, a climate change plan will be laid down which will work for completion of second commitment period of Kyoto Protocol, and it works up to 2020. Right now, see here, according to this agreement, all the countries have to reach on consensus by 2014. Right, that they will reach the targets of plan 2020. Now this is the concern. Now the next one is carbon capture and storage mechanism. Now see here, carbon capture and storage mechanism. Focus on this. Now see here, already we have discussed in Kyoto Protocol about Clean Development Program CDP, and also this, what is the next program called? Joint Implementation Program, JIP, Joint Implementation Mechanism, or you call it as JIM. Now according to this, what happens? This carbon capture and according to this, what happens? You have to invest your excess usage of carbon credits by buying or otherwise installing a green technology plant in the developing countries or developed countries. But in carbon capture and storage mechanism, this process is derived from only CDP, not JIM. Now this scheme rewards governments or companies who invest in clean energy projects in developing countries with carbon credits that they can sell, trade or profit. Right now see here, government will reward for this type of CDP programs. Already we have discussed extensively regarding the CDP. Go through the previous slides and you get the things. Right, so it will reward the companies or countries who invest in green technology programs in the developing countries. Right, so the new rules under this carbon capture or storage mechanism is nothing but the project developers, the companies or the project developers, to put 5% of the carbon credit earned in reserve. 5% of carbon credits earned must be put in reserves. Why? And to be awarded to them only after site monitors have proved that carbon dioxide has leaked from the underground store 20 years after the end of the crediting period. Now see here, every company or every firm that has to pledge that 5% of the carbon credits has to kept in reserves, and they have to be awarded such that no carbon dioxide leakage has happened into the ground in 20 years. Right, in the coming 20 years. Right, this is nothing but end of carbon credit period. Now this is very important, focus on this. Done. Now this is Durban Summit. The next what we will discuss is about the remaining COPs. Now COP20 was held in Limoux, COP21 was held at Paris. Now two more things are there. COP23 was held in Bonn, Germany in 2017. Before that we have left out one more. COP22 was held in Marrakech, Marrakech, which is in Morocco. So it was held in 2016 and this was held in 2017. Now we have discussed in detail regarding all the conference of party program. Now see here, you can expect damn surely one question on this COPs. Since 3 years, every year there is a question on this. Right now, next we will discuss about the National Action Plan on climate change in India. Right? What plans have been taken for climate change in India? Already some things we have dealt in environmental degradation and environmental pollution. Let us see the things that we have not dealt earlier. Right? I will not repeat the same things again. Now, this National Action Plan on Climate Change was announced in the year 2008 by the Government of India under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Now see here, this plan includes the first one. See here, I'll write everything. National Solar Mission. National Solar Mission. Right now it aims at creating 20,000 megawatts of electricity through solar power by 2020. Now this is National Solar Power Mission. Now the next one is National, I'm writing all the full forms, right? National Mission, a little bit lengthier one, focus on this, for enhanced energy efficiency. Energy efficiency. Now see here, what is this national mission? Now according to this objective, it has to create new institutional mechanisms to enable the development and strengthening of energy efficiency markets. Now this objective is to mainly instill institutions regarding energy efficiency. Right now the next one is National Water Mission. Now I'll write it as National NWM. Now what this National Water Mission says, its objective is to promote integrated management of water resources. Now, one more important one is there, National Mission for sustaining Himalayan ecosystems. For sustaining Himalayan ecosystems. Himalayan ecosystems. Now under this plan, government's objective is to establish a monitoring network for Himalayan ecosystems in order to know the impacts on Himalayan glaciers. Now this is very important. Right? National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. Now everybody knows about this, so I'll write down this. National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. Done. Now this is one more important thing, National Mission for Green India. Right now see here, I'll write National Mission as NM. National Mission for Green India is the next one. Now under this initiative, right now 10 million hectares of forest lands has to be afforested. 10 million hectares of land has to be afforested, must be taken under forest cover. Right Now this is Green India, and one more mission is there, National Mission on Sustainable Habitat. Now we will deal this in detail. There is a chapter on this, right? This is nothing but to their objectives are to manage efficient energy buildings and sustainable waste management techniques, right? Now these are the national missions. Now apart from this, one important thing you have to know. So once it was asked in your examination, some climatology concepts, right? Now let us focus on this very easy one, but basic definitions, right? Now you have to know the exact definition of humidity. Now what is humidity? Humidity is nothing but the amount of water vapor present in the air. Now this humidity indicates the degree of dew, degree of fog, and degree of precipitation in the atmosphere. Now I'll summarize this point, right? Amount of water vapor, amount of water vapor present in the air is called humidity, right? Now this humidity indicates the degree of precipitation, degree of dew, or degree of fog. Now in this humidity there are three main measurements. The first one is absolute humidity. Absolute humidity. Now what about absolute humidity? Now it is the amount of water vapor per volume, per unit volume, expressed in gram per cubic meters is called absolute volume. Now see here, this is nothing but amount of water vapor per unit volume expressed. Now this is expressed in grams per cubic meters, right? Now this is called absolute humidity. And the next one what we will discuss is the second type of humidity is relative humidity. Now what is this relative humidity, right? Now it is expressed as a percent. It measures the current absolute humidity to the maximum for that particular temperatures. Now this relative humidity is given in percentages. Focus on this. And it measures the current absolute humidity to maximum at that particular temperature. At that particular, so I am writing the definitions here. Particular temperature, I am writing in degrees Celsius. And the third one is specific humidity. Now what is this? It is the ratio of mass of water vapor to the total mass of moist air. It is the ratio of mass of water vapor to the ratio of total mass of moist air. Right? Now let us see the temperatures associated with this humidity also. This is also one more important one, right? Now the first one is dry bulb temperature. Now see, these terms you will be frequently observing. Dry bulb temperature. Now what is this dry bulb temperature? Now it refers basically to the ambient air temperatures. Now air temperatures. Now see, I'm writing this point. It refers basically to the ambient air temperatures. Now it can be measured by using a normal thermometer freely exposed to air but shielded from radiation and moisture. Now see here, this can be measured by your normal thermometer, right? But this has to be shielded by radiation. Now this shield has to be free of radiation and moisture, right? Now this is dry bulb temperature. And the next one is wet bulb temperature. How will you calculate this, and what is this exactly? What is wet bulb temperature? Now it is a temperature that can be measured by using a thermometer with bulb wrapped in wet muslin. Now see here, this can also be measured by a thermometer, but this thermometer, the TMI thermometer, must be covered with a wet muslin, right? Now the temperature difference between dry and wet bulb temperature depends on the humidity of the air. Now the difference between dry bulb BT minus wet bulb BT, difference, see this is difference, will be dependent upon the humidity in the air. Now focus on this. Now the next type of temperature what you have to observe is dew point temperature. The next one is dew point temperature. Now what is this dew point temperature, right? Now it is the temperature at which water vapor starts to condense out of air. Now it is the temperature at which water vapor starts to condense out of air. Now I'm writing all the points, right? Now this is called dew point temperature. Now this dew point temperature will always be lower than dry bulb temperature, right? This dew point temperature will always be lower than dry bulb temperature. Now it is identical with, this dew point temperature is identical with 100% relative humidity. Relative humidity. Now see here, the device which is used to measure humidity, the device which is used to measure humidity is called hygrometer or psychrometer. Hygrometer to measure humidity is called, then this was asked in 15 Service Commission examination, hygrometer or psychrometer to measure humidity. Now see here, this hygrometer or psychrometer is used to measure relative humidity. There is no such case for absolute humidity, right? Now one more point we have to learn about this is, a general point in this climatology, cloud seeding. Now what is cloud seeding? Now cloud seeding is a process of spreading either dry ice or more commonly silver iodide aerosols into the upper part of clouds to stimulate precipitation process and form rain. Now these are called artificial rains where in AP and Maharashtra they are trying, right? Now see here, cloud seeding, I'll write the exact definition, right? It is a process of spreading. In Anantapur district of Andhra Pradesh, this cloud seeding technology was used, spreading either dry ice or silver iodide. Now, very important, once it was asked in a commission examination also, what was the chemical used for cloud seeding? Silver iodide. It is used as aerosol, silver iodide aerosol, into upper parts of the clouds, into upper parts of the clouds to stimulate precipitation, to stimulate precipitation. Done. Now this is called cloud seeding. Very important thing, right? Done. Thank you.